One other point while I've got you. There's been studies of human well-being and happiness, over time, and they find that in the United States and many other countries, those peaked in around 1970 and have been declining ever since. And yet GDP has more than doubled. So our quality of life is not really improving with all of this additional consumption. It seems to me like we could frame a message that says, look, this consumption is not really improving your quality of life. The quality of life is really what's important to you. Here are some other ways to achieve that.
That I think we have been peddling that message for quite a while, and I think it is not as effective as we had hoped it would be. We know that over time, when everybody's income goes up, we're not getting increases in average levels of happiness. So there you're forced to make an argument to people, which is a hard one, which is about, well, if 10 years from now you have more income and everybody else does, you're not going to be happier too. I think we shouldn't hang too much on it, because I think it also does what you very nicely talked about at the very beginning, which is there's a losing dimension to it, because the first thing we have to do is explain why everything they think about income is wrong, so we're on the defensive. And I do think we need to start with the things that we're for, and start with the picture of the life that we're trying to create. We start with the positive, and then we can put the critique of excessive materialism and so on and goes over in there, and that is something that people relate to. But that's more about a values argument. Our society has gotten out of balance. We don't have our spirituality, etc. Rather than, the income and happiness it's a wonky argument too, because it's coming out of a wonky literature. So that's that. On the Frank, in Overspent American, I have a model of competitive consumption also, in which I show your own spending pattern is very much driven by the relationship between you and your reference group, much more than your income as in a standard model. So I do think is really important. But I think that, in this environment, to say we want to solve that problem through taxation, I think is the wrong way to go. The other way to solve that problem is through a fairer income distribution, because the more unequal the income distribution, the more competitive consumption you get. It's just the way that the growth in inequality has exacerbated. I think this is another example of where, by focusing on inequality, we actually can get to the ecological outcomes that we care so much about, but not through a negative discourse of people consume too much, or we grow too much, or this or that. It's saying, we need more fairness in our society. It's central to people's, what people care about, and more fairness will actually get us, a lot better ecological outcomes. So that's, I would lead with our strengths, I think.